Archaeological evidence shows that oysters used to be a staple food of the working population, who ate them in their millions. For years I was put off them by a fisherman in Aldeburgh who told me, "They're bloody good for you, boy, but it's like swallowing a spittoon." Not true. In places like Albania, they're starting to realise that when you open up to the outside world, it's a two-way process. What do we think of it? And what does it think of us? Here in Whitstable, a Kent coast, oyster beds, Charles Dickens, unreconstructed English seaside sort of a place, some people are wary of change and feel threatened by the hectic world outside. Canterbury. Steve Blacknell came to explore Whitstable for us and liked it so much he bought a house and came to live here. Andy Kershaw isn't moving to Albania till the spring.
It probably wasn't just their taste for shellfish that led the Romans to decide on this particular stretch of coastline as the place to invade Britain. After the hustle and bustle of Rome, perhaps they just wanted a bit of peace and quiet. Things haven't changed much since then. If an alien landed in Whitstable in search of human life, he may be forgiven the same bewilderment as did Julius Caesar back in 55 BC, because it's actually quite hard to determine if there is any. It's all a question of timing. You can't invade on a Wednesday afternoon because it's half-day closing.
I know you're in there. Come out and sell me something now. Hello? Hello?
Smugglers' alleys with names that don't leave too much to the imagination lead you down to the sea and Whitstable's ancient heart, the harbour. Down here, they're open all hours. Even on a Wednesday afternoon, it's alive, oh, not just with cockles and mussels and oysters and such, but all things fishy. These are whelks. It's not all work. They know how to play here as well. Whitstable is a seaside town and proud of it. They've got an amusement arcade in the high street where they've been coining it in since the 1950s. Tourists and locals alike come here to get their seaside rocks off.
Now, what about Whitstable? Is there lots to do here?
Yeah, there's quite a lot to do. Not like that much, but I come in here, I'm not bored or nothing.
Now, why don't your mates come in with you? Why, do you come in on your own every night, or what?
I come in on my own.
Why don't your mates come with you?
Sometimes my mates come with me, but mostly I come in on my own.
Don't you get bored with it?
No.
People here do have a high boredom threshold. The tourist board recommend sunset watching as an activity. Thursday morning, the rush hour. Rumours of pedestrianisation are rife, but Delia Fitt says it'll never happen.
Well, usually for Whitstable's wonderful things, the money runs out. When my father... Well, it's true, isn't it? It's 120, please. The nice things about Whitstable are the fact that it used to be so... It's, in a funny little way, pretty and, you know, on its own and a community. And that's what we're trying to stop Canterbury and incomers spoiling. We don't want to be a bland, looks pretty, no heart.
Nearby sea salter makes Whitstable look like Blackpool. It just sort of is. It too has escaped the slings and arrows of outrageous developers. It's the end of the world as we know it. But somehow it sort of feels okay. Okay, it may be a one-horse town, but there's a pioneering spirit here, where local folk can carve out their own destinies, like builder Chris Bryant. So what sort of place is Sea Salter, Chris? Is it quite a daring place to live?
Well, it's not too bad round here. I don't know if there's any wife swapping round here, but I've been trying to swap mine for bloody ages. But no luck up to now.
So are there any secret societies around here? Are there sort of like a local community
Well, if there is,
meeting?
are pretty secret because I haven't found any of them yet, and I've been looking.
Now, is there a magical borderline between Sea Salter and Whitstable? I mean, do you ever sort of wander into the into Whitstable itself?
Oh yeah, we're always going into Whitstable. The health centre's down Whitstable, and when you're my age, you're popping in and out there quite often, don't you? Go
So
down here, have a corns done, free of charge.
Across the bay, there's another hive of inactivity. Tankerton, where they have their own summer dog bylaws. It may be all quiet on the seafront here too, but there's a proliferation of bylaws to be broken by dogs, cyclists, or until recently, bathers. It's hard to get people here to talk about it, especially on film. Mind you, I suppose you can't really blame them, but there's a saucy seaside story about Tankerton. This seemingly innocuous stretch of shingle was until recently the naturist beach. Until, that is, scenes of lewd behaviour forced the council to take it away. I don't know how you take a beach away. When I used to come here on my summer holidays all those years ago, I remember the grown-ups in their beach huts, drinking tea, listening to the wireless, and staring out to sea a lot. Well, nothing's changed. Can you just sit here and say nothing for long periods of time?
Yeah, I suppose we do, don't we?
Quite long periods of time, can't you?
There's a man over there who's quite small, and he's walking this very big dog.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm asked about the pace in Whitstable, I say there isn't one. The sublime sits happily with the ridiculous. There's a peace and a quiet that defies description. But it could all be lost if the real world gets its mitts on it. They're aware of these dangers at the Whitstable Improvement Trust. But how do you improve on something that's perfect already?
Better standards of design have been introduced, both in the walkways leading through the general improvement area and from Harbour Car Park to the central shopping area.
The members of the trust are people who care. They have a plan and a vision.
And heritage panels. This is a program which may well be extended in the future. The Whitstable Improvement Trust has taken the lead in enhancing the fabric and economic viability of the town and will continue to work for Whitstable, caring for its past, its present, and its future.
Well, here we are. I told you we'd bought a house in Whitstable.
Is it over yet?
No, almost. We're just at that bit where I tell everyone where we're going next week.
Oh. Where are you going next week?
Well, I'm going to Alsace and Sheila Payne's going to the Yemen. Watch. I'll tell everyone now. Oh, no. We must have missed it. No, we'll never know.
Blimey.
And you can find out more about this week's Travelog Day